All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, being American and YouTube Ronin. Welcome to the Mystery Movie Night podcast. All right, I want to say hello to everyone joining us on X and all the various other platforms and channels that are simulcasting at this time. I want to say hello to the chat. The first one here, of course, FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. Channel member, Space Fraggle. Faithful Blue Ranch channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Cleary. Friend of the channel, Enigma Severus. All right. Got a full panel tonight, and I think this is going to be a lively one. The reason why I know you are all truly here. The woman who will Haruken me to death at any moment. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled for ninjas and various assassins that could enter the building. Sun's Corner.
Is it because I'm all dressed in black or something?
Sure, why not?
And the ninjas in?
Ninjas are in. We need more ninja movies.
I know. Good ninja movies, too.
Indeed.
Recommend some, y'all.
Yes. Anything with Shokashugi, I'm good. Hello to Caveat Ties. All right. Joining us from an undisclosed location, which all you have to do is basically just look right out his window and you can guess. Off the cover.
Well, hello out there in Radio Land, dear viewers. We're going to be diving into some more dumpster fires in Hollywood.
Well, save it. And of course, last but certainly not least, he is not Peter Facinelli. He just plays him on YouTube. It's Kyle Corwith.
Apparently, this has gotten around the tubes. People have been saying this in the live chat that I look like the guy. Okay. Thank you for having me back. Yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll into this movie.
Right on.
Should I set a timer deleted so that we don't run you late for your whatever stream you got coming up?
Yeah, we should probably
like we did last
set a
time.
Timer. Yeah, which
Never
we
had to come
happily
for you.
Went over. So,
well, it's so much fun to talk about.
All else
this
will
stuff.
just have to wait. All right. Well,
how long do you want me to? When do you have to split?
Let's. When do I have to split? I think I've got a good 70 more minutes. I think that ought to about do it.
Okay. All right.
All righty. Yes. If you're on my channel and you stay to the end of the show, you will be redirected to my next stream, live from Sparkwood 21, where I will be joined by or whatever the hell the word I'm trying to say is, by Troy Pacelli, Nutters Network and Aged Boomer, as we discuss the Twin Peaks television series and all of the multimedia surrounding it. All right. And a quick announcement before we go on. Just before we went on, I learned I just hit 4K subscribers.
Nice.
So
congrats.
Thank you to all of the new subs.
Cheers.
Hopefully,
cheers.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
I've got a heavier pour than you, Kyle, this time around.
But you have rocks in it. I don't.
Yeah, you drink it like a man. What are you working with?
Suburban, man. I'm not going to say the name until they fucking pay me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm working with a bourbon too, actually.
Mhm.
It's a very good one. I like it. They should pay me. They should pay all of us.
Yes. All the free advertising. Hello to our man from the future, Sashi.
Sashi.
And Megan to Texas joined us. Hello.
Woohoo.
All
Hi,
right.
Megan.
So let's just get right on to it. And the mystery movie night selection this week was Asylum's Gladiator: A New Hope.
Okay, so I was surprised about this. I was happy.
Yeah, I was very happy because it freed up my Thursday night.
Right, exactly, same. I've already canceled my ticket. I was like, no, there's no way because Enigma, no way because I was like, this is like supposed to be a blockbustery, big blockbustery thing. So I thought, no way. I even had tickets to a free screener for tonight, but well, that was before I forgot about our discussion. Yeah. I wasn't going to go to it, but anyway, it came up and I was fist bumping my movie buddy next to me. We were fist bumping. We were happy. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The funniest part was the fact that the display was right outside my theater. I was like, I hope it is.
Yeah, there was definitely a big poster in the entrance of my theater. Yeah.
They're not doing too good of a job trying to make it a mystery.
No,
right?
Not this time.
Not this week.
There was other speculation as far as what it might be. One of which I was hoping it wasn't going to be, and the other was like, okay, well maybe, but I really would like it to be Gladiator.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will, but Gladiator 2 was better than last week's mystery movie that I went to, but apparently Regal didn't have.
Right? No, it did not.
Ben Hofer. It's about some German priest during World War II. It was not good.
That sucks.
Which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to that one. So
yeah, it was just I didn't even bother reviewing it. It wasn't worth it.
Ah, that bad, huh?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not wasting time with this. I got Yellowstone, and now I still have to do my Dune Prophecy review. I don't have time for that.
Okay. So,
Lita, can I make one request?
Please do.
Can we do the 4-quadrant viewpoint because my mug is being covered up by the comments and all
there
that
we
stuff.
go. There we go. Okay, hold on.
Beautiful.
That should do it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
You could do like a banner at the bottom, so if people jump in, they'll know exactly what we're talking about. If that's not too much for you to hop on during the stream.
I was going to ask before, and I totally forgot. When are we are we separating the spoiler review or the spoiler part from the beginning?
That was something I meant to ask you guys about if we were going to do spoilers. I'm fine talking spoilers if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can have a plot summary and then just a spoiler warning.
We can do that. Yeah.
I don't know whoever wants to go with the plot summary. I think I'm going to butcher it because I didn't know any of the characters' names.
Yeah, so we're going to have the characters' names on the screen or something. I might have to pull something up in order to know their names.
There was Lucius.
My bad.
There was Lucius from the first movie, but that
I can get a few of them, but
I forgot his mother's name, and I forgot the name of Lucilla.
Mm-hmm.
Lucilla. I forgot the name of Pedro Pascal's character already. It starts with an A. That's all I remember.
Yeah, Acacian.
That was his last name. That's what you don't even know his first name, do you?
Acacius. Yeah.
I just remembered it had an A in it.
No. That's not the character's. That's not the character's first name. Pedro's character's first name is Marcus, which is fucking confusing because Marcus Aurelius is the grandfather of Lucius.
That's probably why they were always referring to him as Acacius.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I can only presume that that name is based on a real figure, although they take significant liberties with some certain cases. However, there are aspects that are real that actually they did put into this movie that are surprising.
Can you enlighten us on those things at some point in the conversation? Because I'm curious. I didn't do
I will.
any
I read an article by The Standard, and I got a sense, or not a sense, I found out what was real or based on fact and what was not. So we'll definitely, I can mention a couple of those as we
were
get
there
further
really
into
sharks in the Coliseum in real life?
Do we want to get into it now, or do we
Well, I
want
mean,
to
that's
wait
not a
until...
major
That's a
spoiler. I'm just
spoiler.
curious.
That's a spoiler, Sin.
Not a major
Great
spoiler.
job. Great
I was
job.
in the trailer.
I don't think you're going to get on Thirsty Thursdays again. Your integrity is shattered.
I never saw the trailers, so it was through word of mouth on social media that I heard that Lucius was supposed to be was Maximus's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to get into that as
That's-
well.
And that there were sharks in the Coliseum, and people were just going a little bit nuts about that. So I don't consider those spoilers since they were in the
Yeah.
Well, my understanding of it was they did recreate naval battles in the Colosseum, but if they went through the whole 9 yards of actually adding sharks, I don't know how the hell they got the sharks in there.
Well, isn't
Right.
Rome not too terribly far from the ocean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a peninsula. So,
Yeah.
Ridley Scott's response. Are you fucking kidding me? That they could put water in that Coliseum? You don't think that they could take a couple marine animals into there? That was a response in a quote.
I heard about that response of his.
Yeah. He is very ornery. I mean, he's kind of always been, but it's more pronounced because he's old and he's in the get off my lawn stage.
And the quality of his filmmaking has declined.
Not as badly as Coppola's with Megalopolis.
Okay,
Very
I'll
good
give you
point.
that. I haven't seen Megalopolis. I
Didn't
decided
Don't
not
bother.
to. I'm not
Don't
going
bother.
to. Okay,
Unless you want a really bizarre experience.
I decided
know?
I don't. I don't have the brain bandwidth.
You're on some
for that.
drugs or have a heavy night of drinking and you want to turn on something like
I felt I needed to
no,
drink
farewell.
during this.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
So yeah, you called it a
interesting.
train wreck in the chat.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't feel that strong. I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's definitely, I'm just going to summarize my thought. It's definitely does not come anywhere close to being as good as the first one. And it didn't have the emotional impact and weight to it that the first one did. It almost felt like it was made by a different director.
Mhm.
And sometimes it started to feel a bit soap opera-y, and with all the scheming and the stuff that was going on and the, I don't know. It's not going to be on my top 10 favorites, but it's also not going to be on my top 10 worst.
So can I
No.
read off my plot summary here?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just going straight off of Wikipedia. Well, actually, let's just do this.
Oh, I thought you were going to do your own plot summary. That would.
Oh, I thought it was your own review.
Yeah, I was about
tailored.
to. Not a review. You know what, Kyle? Here's my first off the cover plot summary. So we basically start out 16 years after the end of the first movie, and we see some random guy, Hano, in some town somewhere I had to look this up, in northern Algeria, some kingdom of Numidia. American schooling sucks. I was not aware of this kingdom. And they're about to get taken over by Roman ships, led by Pedro Pascal's General Acacian. So Hano gets taken in as a slave. They row their way back to Rome. He gets purchased by Denzel Washington's character, and then he goes and becomes a gladiator. But he wants his revenge on General Acacian,
because
who murdered his wife.
Well, he didn't. He didn't really. He ordered
responsible for.
But here's the I had an issue with that whole setup.
He ordered
like
the movement that killed her.
Yeah, I felt like that was super contrived, though.
My setup?
No, the setup. The setup of the source of angst.
Yeah.
Between the main character and Pedro's character.
Yeah. You want to know what it is? I was talking. So me and my wife went to go see it, and we touched upon this. Lucius should have no animosity, if at all. Maybe a little, sure, bad feelings. Oh, that really sucks. Because, excuse me, his wife was engaging in the battle.
It was warfare.
And it was warfare. It was the time of war, and all's fair during that time. This is nowhere comparative to the pathos of the first film, where Commodus brutally sent a charge of soldiers to murder his son and wife at their estate.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah.
This is nowhere near that.
Not the same emotional weight. That's like kind of what it was.
And there's no weight to this, like you said, angst and retribution that he feels, and you hear it from. Is it pronounced Macrinus? Denzel Washington's character.
Mm-hmm.
He says to Lucius, "I can sense the rage in you. I can sense the rage, just anger."
Yeah, that was a little contrived.
I don't see it. Not from his performance. Which, by the way, this is my impression of Paul Mescal. Oh, sorry, Mescal.
Mescal.
He doesn't have the screen presence. He does not have the magnetism
really
that Russell Crowe. He cannot. He was not convincing in this role. He didn't carry this. Yeah, he didn't carry it well.
Yeah, throughout, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm rewatching Breaking Bad. You know who I thought would have been a better actor for that role is Aaron Paul. Aaron Paul had the screen. I don't know, like better than Paul Mescal.
Dude, how is nobody fucking talking about this? And thank you for demonstrating it. Nobody's talking about this. There's been a couple articles, and I was one of the first. Small channel, so didn't get a lot of traction. Mm-hmm. But literally, even before a year ago, for years since 2019, there was speculation that Gladiator 2 was going to happen. And I was saying, well, they got to get Spencer Treat Clark back to continue to have the continuity of the first one.
Agreed.
And I did like 2 recordings back in Illinois where I used to live, and something followed up technically and it didn't work out. I did it again when I moved to Texas, didn't work again. And then the third time is the video that I posted a year ago of me just specifically pointing this topic out of they just shafted Spencer Treat Clark for some fucking reason that no one wants to talk about. Ridley Scott doesn't want to talk about.
And actually, you're right, because I looked up his picture as an adult, because I remember him as a kid, but I just looked him up. He actually would have been a great, like in the Roman makeup and everything. I think he would have been fantastic.
Can we all agree that Spencer Treat Clark is better looking than Paul Mescal?
Yeah.
Well, it definitely would have helped because you would have had that bridge in your mind between these two movies a little bit better.
Yeah.
Knowing that it was the same guy.
But likewise, in Terminator 3, they used Nick Stahl instead of what's his name?
Edward Furlong.
Edward Furlong was having his issues.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Spencer Treat Clark isn't a drug addict though.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know what the choice was there.
He put out a statement a few months ago, actually.
Who did?
That was Spencer Treat Clark.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Sorry, I didn't clarify. Spencer put out, when he was asked, there was a quote, and he says, I hear it's good. I hope it's good. Very diplomatic, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. He didn't even state in detail of, did Ridley call you or anything? And I doubt he did, which is pretty disrespectful if that's the case. I just think it's a huge wasted opportunity. And in my pitch, on my video, I state how they had the opportunity to show this character of Lucius when you can do the plot line where he's sent off away after Maximus dies in the first one to, I guess we're into spoilers.
I mean, can we finish with the plot summary?
I thought. Oh, okay. My bad.
Oh no. I mean, no. I'm not trying to jump in, but yeah. So he gets bought by Denzel Washington's character, becomes a gladiator during the time of these two twin emperors, Caracalla and Greta. I want to say.
Can't remember their names.
Yeah,
that actually happened. Yeah,
that actually did happen.
Caracalla and
Greta.
Geta.
Yeah.
Greta.
Yeah, so that actually happened, and then we get the whole storyline of Lucius's mother from the first movie as she gets having these flashbacks of Maximus telling her to go take care of Lucius. She sends him away, and then kind of remains in the background working with the senators to restore democracy to the empire. That's pretty much the plot summary, right? Did I miss anything without spoilers?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So spoilerific. If we can start spoiling, it's up to
All right,
you. You're the host. You're the host here.
Folks, I honestly don't know how to talk about this movie without going into spoilers, to be honest with you. So, we are going to be spoilerific tonight, folks. So,
okay,
I am putting the
here we go.
Spoiler banner up now. Okay, I'll begin. This movie had me for the first 20 minutes.
It didn't,
and
to
then
me.
Those fucking CGI baboons.
Oh yeah, that
and I went
like, what the hell?
I am watching an asylum film.
Yeah, you know what? I was actually going to bring this up.
I wrote it down.
It was so like the CGI throughout the entire movie was so jarring. This is going to be like a quick aside. I actually have seen baboons. I was like at arm's length away from baboons when I went to Africa. I even saw one baboon pleasuring another one.
You see them hairless?
Yeah, no, and they're like this big.
Yep,
they're this big. They're not massive apes.
Now the question becomes: is there another kind of baboon that is larger in history?
Not that I've ever seen, that's and like nothing went extinct in 2,000 years other than the dodo. Like no, like large land animal went extinct. Since
that's another discussion we can get into. That would be interesting to have. But CGI,
I mean, I could have gone with it if the CGI was better.
Right. Yeah. At the start of when it's the shot inside the pen in which the baboons are waiting to be released, and you see them jumping about, completely weightless and unrealistic, was absolutely absurd. What is with these artists, these CGI artists who don't realize that objects, creatures
have mass,
people have mass, and gravity has an effect on them, and you can't fucking bounce them around like it's a fucking Pixar cartoon. It just pisses me off. It really does. It's common sense, and I don't know what if they lose the common sense eye to be able to see these things, and Ridley Scott not being able to. Apparently, it's prevalent, and this is why practical effects need to be implemented into films, so you don't run into this and you don't lose the common sense of the eye. Right? He did that. Ridley Scott did that in the first film with the tiger fight. Even though there are some composite shots and some editing that's a little too fast, and they try to stitch it up to make it look like it's all continuous, etc. I would rather have that than some editing quibbles, yada yada, than just janky CGI that is going to just take me out of the movie.
I mean, to play devil's advocate, I think the animal rights people have really clamped down on it ever since there was some movie like A Dog's Purpose or A Dog's Choice or whatever the hell it was called. A Dog's Purpose, where a German Shepherd drowned. So I think that could have played a part. I'm not sure. And not using real baboons.
I mean,
Sashi says he checked the cast list, and apparently one of the British Bake Off hosts is in it. Okay. Wow.
Please tell us who.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, the shark CGI wasn't
Matt
good
Lucas. Matt Lucas credited as the Master of Ceremonies, aka the replacement David Hemmings. Yeah, discount David Hemmings. Yeah. Can
we also talk about how bad the actors were for the Emperors, the twin Emperors?
Joseph Quinn, and I don't even know who the other one is.
Was Fred Heckinger or something like that? I'd never seen him before.
Hang back a second. Wasn't he supposed to play the Human Torch in the new Fantastic Four?
Oh, he is.
I mean, that does not bode well.
For those that don't know,
no, the other guy.
No, Joseph Quinn.
Joseph Quinn.
Yeah, Joseph Quinn. Yeah.
For those who don't know, he was the guy in the last Stranger Things season who was the metal dude,
the guitarist guy, and he also
which I actually liked. Yeah, which I actually liked.
I did. He was my favorite character. He was also in A Quiet Place Day One.
Oh, I gotta go see that.
They felt very
wait, Quiet Place. Sorry, I
Quiet Place Day One.
A second, yeah. I don't recommend that.
Almost Drowned. Okay, fine.
Good.
Fine, but still, I saw the video and they like dumped this poor dog into like rushing water.
If it didn't drown,
come on, Kyle.
He didn't drown.
I'm a dog person. Come on, man.
So am I.
Okay, all right.
I like dogs.
I don't know.
I'm also a fan of a lot of movies that took chances with animals and created some of the greatest stuff on screen. I mean, Old Yeller is one example of the fucking dog fought a bear on screen. You know?
Oh wow! Like in Old Yeller, or
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean,
okay. So CGI of the sharks was bad too. CGI of the baboons that really snapped me out of it.
And the CGI of like the big expansive scenes, it looked nice, but when they were rolling into Rome, you could tell everything else was fake, and it was just them through a green screen. I don't know, at least I could, and it was very jarring.
Yeah, I agree with Megan. I don't think the Emperor's acting.
It wasn't
I don't think they were
fine.
They felt a bit caricaturish.
Yeah,
to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but that was the point.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was what they were trying to go for.
So let's not forget that, like, by this point in the Roman Empire, it was basically being run by assholes.
Yeah.
Like after Marcus Aurelius, like the whole thing became a total shit show.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who remembers Old Yeller. But yeah, there is some history in this movie that is most semi-accurate.
I mean, just like the first one. The first one wasn't very accurate.
Well, what I mean to say is that there are some things that are accurate.
Yeah.
What was it? Let us know, because I'm curious.
Denzel Washington's character, Macrinus, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, was a real figure from Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and was an emperor for a short period of time. And the difference was he isn't doing in real life. He wasn't a slave trader or some kind of gladiatorial educator.
Okay.
He was an advisor who was never in the Senate, which was one of a kind for someone to become an emperor. That's what I've read. The speculation of how, say, dark his skin was is up for debate. There is a bust of him, but he does hail from a North African region, and it's not out of the realm of possibility. And it's enough for me to say, oh, okay, it's fine. You want to take some liberties and put a darker shaded actor skin? I don't. And it depends on. Yeah,
that's fine. Because like after seeing him in Macbeth, it was fun. Like he played the role great. Within Gladiator 2, and but most of North Africa is. I mean, it's sub-Saharan Africa that's generally black. But
there you go.
There could have been like internal migration, whatever. The Egyptians were kind of like more olive skinned, which they did have in that first battle scene with the ships coming in. So yeah, no real gripes as far as like the DEI crap, except for the women fighting in the beginning.
Right, and that was something I wanted to look up too to figure out. I mean, how accurate is that for women to be fighting at that time? You know?
Well, I mean, I know that it was probably a thing in some cultures. I just don't know anything about that. At first, I thought it was a Roman city that we were seeing in the beginning. So I'm like, did women fight in the army?
No, I busted out my phone. I'm like, where is this new kingdom of Numidia? And it was modern day Algeria.
Okay.
So I guess it's kind of like directly south of like Spain.
See, they had to have women fighting in here so that the guy's wife could get killed to set up the.
No, but she could have been making a sandwich and then brought it to him.
That's true.
Well, that's true too.
She could have been. Yeah, great point.
And then Pedro would be like, "Kill her for bringing him a sandwich."
Yeah.
I have your ham and
That See, and that whole
oh, exactly. Yeah.
me, that whole.
I'm glad that Sin is of the kind of woman that has a sense of humor. Great.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. No, that's
thank
sort
you
of
for the
stuff that's
stupid
funny
chat.
to me. But the reason that felt contrived.
Her death and participation in the war.
Her death. Well, the participation in the war, obviously, but her death in the midst of battle and all this chaos and fighting. Hundreds of people around, and Pedro Pascal is able to accurately notice that this archer from way far away is a female. Kill her, he says.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You know,
and
I was like, yeah, he's specific. Kill her, and of course,
as if it's a common thing. There's a woman up.
Exactly. And then
of course
the husband
there's a woman fighting.
Just so happens to, conveniently see this command being given. And then it happens.
One of the few times he actually notices the minutiae details of things, but couldn't fucking predict when an arrow was going to fly into his mother's chest when Denzel Washington was right the fuck across the way in the emperor's seat. And no one else was in the arena at that point.
Right.
Fucking kidding. This is one thing. I know I'm hijacking just one little thing. Yeah. The cool way they could have done that was that Lucius does see the arrow being fired, and he reaches out, and the arrow goes right through his hand, the back of his hand,
and into her,
but still goes into her.
Yeah.
Into her chest, still kills her. But it's showed that he saw it. And he did all he could. I mean, aside from moving his entire body, but that wouldn't, he knows he can't die in order to save Rome. So that would have been more interesting, and it actually depleted the intelligence or the ability for him to convey a situation or to realize a situation well enough. It just dumbed down his character and lessened the integrity of him. But yeah, sorry, I hijacked that a little bit. It was unrealistic or contrived, that situation at the beginning with Pedro Pascal's character, who is, I don't even know how to say his last name.
Acacius.
Okay.
Also, I totally didn't see the whole transition of Denzel's character turning to, because I did not expect that he was going to end up being like the villain in the movie. And so that was a bit of a surprise, because I thought he was going to be similar to the Oliver Reed character in the first one.
Yeah, he pretty much starts out that way. All of the characters in this movie are basically either the same character from the previous one, because you do get Connie Nielsen back. Derek Jacobi comes back just to get killed like a fucking extra.
That was ridiculous.
I agree. Fucking ridiculous. But I thought it was amazing that he was there again. I didn't know that guy was still alive.
Yep.
I thought it was. I was. Whoa, that guy looks exactly the same, more or less.
Yeah,
he does.
He looks like he's had a bit of plastic surgery, but yeah, he's still around.
I didn't see that. I thought my wife thought that Connie Nielsen had a lot of Botox, and I thought she looked fine.
Oh yeah, I mean, she's still just as sexy as when she did The Devil's Advocate.
She she definitely looks like she takes care of her skin. In what way, I don't know. If it's Botox or plastic surgery or other sorts of treatment.
They're doing a
She looked
lot
great.
of
I mean, she looks great in Wonder Woman. I thought I was fascinated.
Yeah.
But obviously it feels like those characters were just put in there to be a draw.
Yeah.
For the audience, the nostalgia factor.
Yeah, and there's a lot of member berries and nostalgia in this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I went in knowing that he's Lucius, so that wasn't a surprise.
So did I, because I had heard it about in the trailers.
The two things that did surprise me, and one where I actually did a literal spit take, because I think the guy next to me got pissy because he thought I was just trying to spit out my gum. No, I spit out my gum when I realized, oh my God, she's married to Pedro Pascal.
Right.
And that's fascinating.
Around Rome, man.
And
here's the conversation that Denzel Washington had with this guy and his wine. He was, and his grapes.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's talk about Lucilla. When the hell? So Maximus was in the first movie a devoted husband, father.
I have an answer to this.
I'm going to chime in eventually. This is a big thing we're going to get into, but please, guys.
And then he banged Lucilla.
I have an answer to this.
Okay.
Hold on. This was my thought. Now, it's been a bit since I've seen the first Gladiator, but his child was very young in the first Gladiator. He wasn't the little girl. I think it was a little girl, right?
No, it was a son.
No,
he had a little son. Okay.
Yeah.
The kid from Life is Beautiful.
The child was very young, and so in the first Gladiator, you do get these hints that they had been involved with each other.
Okay.
You can kind of pick up these little sort of, the chemistry between them. You can tell, but it's not spelled out to you.
Right.
And so my thought is, this is why this is an okay thing to me. I wasn't bothered by it. Lucian or Lucius, whatever the hell, Lucius, whatever. Lucius. In the first movie, he's referenced in this second movie as being about 12.
Right.
And Maximus's son is much younger than that. So my thought is they probably had a relationship. She got pregnant, didn't tell him. He goes off, has his family. He has no idea in the first movie that this kid is his son.
Okay, fair enough. I thought he was just out banging around.
That's what people were complaining about, but I was like, but wait, his son, his child was much younger than the kid.
Yeah.
Than Lucius. So that was a zero issue for me completely.
Fair enough.
And narratively, obviously it makes
in the
sense
Roman,
to link them that way, but
in the Roman Empire there was a lot of debauchery, so like having multiple wives.
But I don't think that was the case with him.
Yeah.
The way they imply it in the movie is they kind of retcon that final line that Maximus has before he dies. Lucius is safe. Which is the way it's couched in the first movie. They make it sound like, is our son safe?
Well, in the second movie,
it's more like, is your son safe?
Right. In the second movie, that's the way they play it off.
I look at it as a retcon.
Sure. Yeah,
wait,
I definitely think it was a retcon.
Did they change a line, or is it the same?
No,
it's the same line. They changed the implication of the line.
Yeah, they make it like in the second movie, they make it seem by showing that flashback scene that he knew that this kid was his. I don't think he knew at all, and I don't think that was Ridley Scott's plan. I think that it was something he came up with.
I didn't get that sense from when they showed that line. No, I didn't. Why? How would he know?
Well, he didn't act like he knew at all, but the way it was presented does make it seem as if he knew. But I don't think he knew at all.
That's going to be a huge point of contention in the afterlife with his wife. That he went to go and then right at the end, we're flashing we're flashing forward to the end when Lucius grabs the rocks and the dust in the Colosseum, which he fucking does like 5 times in this movie. Just so you remember. By the way, do you remember that Russell Crowe did this like once or twice in the first. You remember?
Yeah.
You get it? You get it? Anyway, he grabs the dust and then he says, "Speak to me, Father." And then it cuts to a shot of a hand through the wheatgrass, and it's just the end.
Yeah. The ending was... Yeah.
Did he just... Because apparently Lucius has some connection to the purgatory or some, the place where people the souls go on to the boat, ferried off. Yeah.
Well, the thing that's interesting there was that was basically the plot of the version of Gladiator 2 that Nick Cave wrote. And there was going to be a whole lot about purgatory and time travel. Lucius was going to come back. Somehow Maximus' son came back. Not quite dead yet. It was kind of weird. I never read the whole thing, but in a way, I'm kind of wondering if maybe they shouldn't have bit the bullet and just did that version. What might have happened? I don't know. Yeah. But
it would have been received terribly as well. So I don't think there's a good sequel to be had.
What I got from the ending was that, Speak to Me, Father. It's just the setup for Gladiator 3.
How?
Yeah.
Just straight up. Because Hollywood is bereft of ideas and they're completely unoriginal and they're just going to pump out sequels and make this into a franchise.
I would be surprised if a third movie happens.
I never say never again.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between that. Ridley Scott is very adamant about turning every fucking thing that he's done in the past, in the beginning of his career into franchises, apparently.
Yeah.
This would be at the latter point or the midpoint in his career, Gladiator is. So apparently he's working his way into the middle, and then eventually we're going to get like a sequel to Matchstick Men. Which is actually a good film.
So I'm going to channel...
It does not need a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, no. This
just like this one doesn't need the first one did not need a sequel.
No.
Well, another movie that didn't need a sequel, also directed by Ridley Scott, was Blade Runner, right? And I'm going to channel the critical drinker for a hot second. When he reviewed Blade Runner 2049, he called it the iPhone of movies. And I was thinking that comparison, because they're both Ridley Scott franchises now, that the first movie, and I really want to get your thoughts, Kyle. The first movie was cinema. This movie is content. Because this morning I woke up and I'm like, I don't remember what I just saw. It's just throwaway TikTok brain rot content.
I share a lot of that sentiment. I really disagree with you about the Blade Runner sequel. I think that movie was made with huge love and attention to detail that it's demonstrated in the behind the scenes footage. And Denis Villeneuve made a close to a masterpiece when it comes to, upscaling and in terms of just making a better movie. It doesn't degrade the first one and doesn't retcon it. It actually preserves
everything.
The speculation that Deckard is either a replicant or he's not. They don't say it outright.
Yep.
They'll still allow you to make that determination. And that's great. But that's not even the point of the movie. I mean, there's so many other aspects that are amazing about that. But it's in the realm of Ridley Scott, but he didn't direct that. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Fair enough.
So if we got a Gladiator 2 that was directed by someone who was of Denis Villeneuve's ilk, I wonder what could have come out of this.
Something better than what we got.
Which, by the way, on the whole, Gladiator 2 is very much, it's the same structure. It literally is the same structure as the first film.
Yeah.
Both they have the same sort of characters plot stuff about the plotting to get rid of the bad people. And
major battle in the beginning, a couple of gladiator fights. Yeah.
Family member gets killed. He gets sold into slavery, comes to Rome, gets into a few gladiatorial bouts. And then there is a secretive uprising that's trying to be had. Somebody finds out about it and then stops that from happening and then takes them captive again because they betrayed, etc., and then somebody significant dies at the end of it, This in the sequel,
except the Gladiator doesn't.
Right.
Well, more people
Well,
die
surprisingly.
in Gladiator 2 than in the first one. You know, you got Pedro Pascal who dies.
Right.
Gracchus, I think is. I'm a fan of that actor. I really. I think they underutilized that.
Are you talking about Joseph Quinn?
No.
Derek Jacobi.
Thank you. The older man.
Derek.
The older man.
Oh, Derek. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that character, even though he's not a huge character. I like the actor's demeanor.
He hardly had anything to do in this film.
But it's the fact that he's present on the good side, and he's been consistent from the first film.
The other character that died,
and he hasn't wavered, and I love that about his character.
Yeah,
he's still going, you know.
Yeah.
And then they unceremoniously kill him.
Yeah, we're just like.
They slice him through the neck on the side of his neck, and he just falls down. We never see his body or anything. And it's like they could have. I like that they would do that with a character that was from the first film to exhibit that this is some serious shit we're dealing with. All bets are off. Anybody could die. Yes, do that, but do it right. Do it with a degree of,
pathos.
Yes, pathos and show that there's some significance to the death, you know, just a little bit. It wouldn't even take that much. It's just like, have a shot at least of his body on the ground, of maybe Lucius seeing him,
maybe the mother reacting to it as well.
Absolutely. Right. Just these little tweaks can make such a huge difference to the way an audience perceives a film.
To add to that, Peter Mensa's character, Jugurtha, I don't know how to pronounce that one. You kind of start caring for him. Then he quickly dies.
He's forgettable.
Which character was this?
He was the friend from what was the place?
Oh, the guy who got the injury on his arm, and he just sat down and let the baboons kill him.
Yeah. Which I suspect because we didn't. At least I don't recall the moment in which we see him getting that injury on his forearm. It may be
during the battle.
Fight during the battle.
During the battle, yeah.
All right.
At the beginning.
But his death was kind of brushed off. It's like, oh well, he's dead. I got to do this other thing. Like he could have just added a split second of slow motion. Oh shit, kind of what I would have liked to have seen as a slow motion Saving Private Ryan when they're on the beach and Tom Hanks's character can't hear and everything's semi slow motion. That would have. I'm sorry.
Shell shock.
Yeah, shell shock. That would have been good. That would have been a better addition. Just an echo of what you just said.
See, that's it. Things like this are why it felt like this was done by somebody else. It just did not feel like a Ridley Scott Gladiator movie. Compared to the first
it felt
movie.
Rushed.
Yeah,
there were parts of it definitely felt rushed.
It was just we're racing to get there, and then oh, okay, the movie's just over now. Bye.
Now we have to go get the other army. The army's going to come here, and they come here at the right time, and then there's this battle between him and Denzel, and then it started to feel like this action film instead of what the first one was.
Just like term limits and age limits for politicians, I think there should be age limits for directors, as proven twice this year.
Well, I'm going to hold off on that sentiment until after I've seen the screener for Juror 2.
George Miller is the exception, and you can count Clint Eastwood in there. I haven't seen most of his films, but you can tell us about that after you see
it. Fair enough. Sorry to be ageist. Whoops.
I think the film is an amalgamation of it's too slow at times and then too fast at times. Mm-hmm. You have multiple beats that repeat from the first film and in this film of Lucilla coming to Lucius's cell over and over again. And we saw that multiple times when she's visiting Maximus, and then she does that for her son. And my wife did a good impression. Just even when we got back, she would do an impression of, and then she would, walk towards me. This scene happens, I kid you not, at least 3 times, maybe more, of her in the dead of night, and there's a guy with a fucking lantern next to her and opens the cell for her. And they have a dialogue that you could have truncated to one scene. Okay. Yeah, there are a whole bunch of nitpicks that we could look at. I mean, the biggest one for me, I think, is the character turn after he kills Pedro Pascal's character, and all of a sudden he feels no ill will and actually regrets that decision and says something along the lines of, "I kind of liked him, actually."
Yeah. that was a quick turnabout. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, just because I think it was the line of, "I would have died for your father."
Right.
I just don't think that's enough, and it would have been more of a struggle internally with Lucius to reckon that. Is this someone who fought with my father, and is he should have been asking that question, and it would have been interesting to look at. Is Maximus his dad? There is a conversation that Denzel Washington has with someone.
Oh yeah.
Speculating if he is, if Maximus or just who is
there
the father
had
of
been
Lucius?
Talk that her brother was
Exactly, and some gay guy that apparently she was, throwing with. She was throwing her hooter around Rome, apparently, and the speculation that it may have been her brother or this other guy is more interesting to me. It's most interesting if it actually was her brother because of rape.
Right.
And that makes it hugely dysfunctional and complicated. But I get this is my interpretation. I think they choose to believe that Maximus is his dad.
But they didn't have DNA tests, Maury Povich.
Well, she would know if she knew the timing and who she'd been with. A woman would typically know.
Not if you have multiple partners in a short
this
period of
this
time.
is true, but there's no indication. There's no indication she had multiples at the same time. You just know that she.
You know about Rome orgies, right?
Yes, but there's no indication she participated in those.
You could have multiple drops in the bucket and not tell which is which.
She had been in an arranged marriage. I can't remember. Was it that her husband was supposed to be gay? I can't remember. But she'd been married to him since he was 14, and he definitely wasn't the father. So they may have never had any. I don't know, but and they did talk about her having lovers. But
when it comes to 12-year-old Lucius. You are not the father. Sorry, I love that. I love Maury Povich.
Oh yeah, that's who you're channeling. That's right. I was like, why does that sound familiar to me? But I mean, she would know if she. I'm just going to take her at her word that she says Maximus is the father. She would know who she had sex with in a certain amount of time.
Right.
She's tried to stage a well-intentioned coup twice in 2 movies, and she's fucked up both.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take her word for anything.
Right.
I do. I didn't buy into her.
She's not very good at it.
I didn't buy into her reasoning for why she couldn't just go off with her own kid.
Yeah,
stay behind to save
Rome or whatever.
Escape in the dead of night. Why doesn't anyone do that?
Go with your child.
Yeah.
She was able to send him off. Why can't she just leave? Escape.
I agree.
Go to North Africa.
They could have escaped together.
What? You want to know why?
But
because she loves the luxury of Rome. She
that
is
could
a
be part of it,
materialistic,
for sure.
Shallow bitch.
That could be it for sure.
Yeah.
She wants both.
Things just didn't feel
she wants
plotted out well.
Opulence, and she wants the family too. Well, you got it. You can only have one, Lucilla. One.
Yeah.
How much of this is the alcohol talking?
What's that?
Are you feeling the effects of the alcohol yet?
I'm feeling the effects of this movie.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Watching this movie makes you feel like you're drunk.
I mean, it didn't do that for me.
I feel like I've been in Jeremy John's stash watching this movie. There with the 18-year-old Scotch. That's what the movie felt like to me.
I'm just having a good time talking about it with you guys. I mean,
because it was this back and forth between this nostalgia trip full of member berries to scenes that actually did work to I'm watching a silent film to I'm watching one of the Disney Star Wars sequels. I wasn't bored watching the movie, which is odd. I was not bored watching this movie at any point. But it was that sheer what the fuck am I watching nature of it.
You're right.
They kept me going. That's why I texted at the end of it, "It's glorious train wreck."
Yeah.
Because this movie is god awful, but I had fun watching it, and I'm glad I saw it.
Oh, I definitely am not.
I don't know.
I mean,
It's
I was
weird.
going to go see it anyway. I'm glad I wasn't. I wasn't angry at it, but that's partly because I wasn't expecting it to be as good as the first one.
Yeah.
It's just kind of meh, honestly.
I watched like a quick 30-second short of Chris Gore walking out of the theater.
I
reaction.
Stayed out of those. I didn't.
No, I mean, but it was just like all he did was like that.
Well, see, that tells you everything. I didn't want to know what anybody thought. I stayed away from reviews beforehand.
So for me, was it necessary? No.
Mm-mm.
B, was it as bad? Was it better than the first one? Absolutely not. Was it as bad as people would say? It entertained me.
The girl I was with enjoyed it. She liked it, but she'd not seen the first one. I said, "You got to go watch the first one now." Nobody walked out.
When I was nobody walked out.
And people were excited when they saw everybody was clapping that it was Gladiator.
Me too. Yeah. And when I was walking out of the theater, because I talked to a few people while the credits were the 10-minute long credit at the end of the film, was rolling. I got a chance to talk to a few people, and it seemed to me that the people who liked it the most were the people who didn't see the first movie.
Right.
I
let
agree.
me piggyback off of that. So, Sin, your friend that you saw the movie with, she hadn't seen the first. What did she think of this one?
She enjoyed it. She liked it a lot.
Okay.
And she texted her friend and said, you have to go see Gladiator 2 because there's a baby monkey. Remember that little baby monkey? It was a cute little monkey.
That's incidental. That's comic relief. It has a diaper and all that stuff. That's like truckle. Yeah,
you know, the critics are giving this fairly okay reviews. I mean, currently it's at 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm curious to see what the audience thinks.
Yeah.
I do not think fans of the first one are going to be as kind to this.
This is what's strange.
No.
Are the majority of critics today youngins that didn't see or are a fan of the first film? I mean, you have the passing of a generation of people that
it's not been that long ago.
It's 24 years.
I know, but not
years.
That's
long
enough
ago.
for an entire generation to pass away. I mean, I have watched relatives of mine that have passed, and it's been more apparent to me that there is a generational change happening where I and Generation X are essentially the next generation to lead this world. That's basically it.
Well, we're technically millennials.
The boomers are pretty much gone or on their way out. It's sad.
They're on their way out, but they're still there because whatever. But so I have two stories regarding the original. Well, this Gladiator and the last Gladiator. So the movie came out in 2000, and I was a college freshman in 2001, and I had a laptop, or I got a laptop. I don't know how I procured this laptop. I don't know. Maybe my parents got it for me, and I would bring it to class. And while the professor was droning on and on and on, I would put on action movies on mute, and Gladiator was one of them, and people would just crowd around me watching my laptop.
Goodness.
Did you put on subtitles?
Yep. And I would just show, because it was like an 80-minute class, I would just show the action scenes.
This is just the origin stories of Paul realizing that he wants to talk about movies and
basically.
You know how many times I have seen Russell Crowe die on screen with that movie? My husband loves Gladiator.
It's a great movie.
Apparently it's a religion to some people.
He would just watch certain parts. I don't think he's actually ever sat down and watched the whole thing. from start to finish. He will fast forward to his favorite parts, which are the battles, when his family gets killed.
I mean, I'm the same way with Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
I get it.
Die so many times.
Yeah. And then this is going to be a little like gross out warning for the next 30 seconds. So the little monkey, when I was growing up, my dad worked like all over the place, and he brought back these two little monkeys up like basically that size. I must have been like 2 or 3, so I don't actually remember, the monkeys running around in the house.
Are they capuchins?
I don't know. He just brought like some random wild monkeys back from the jungle. And I forget what the second one's name was, but
as every dad does,
right. And so we named this one monkey Yuki, and Yuki would sit in the corner in the kitchen and let's just say pleasure himself.
Oh gosh.
And I don't remember any of this, but my mom was like, yeah, you came up to me and said, Mommy, what's Yuki doing? And my mom was like, get that fucking monkey out of my house.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I thought she would say that this is a moment of opportunity to educate you.
Yeah, educate you.
I was like, 2.
Yeah.
This is what this is. This is how you do it right.
Like my brother's dog. He has sex with his baby lamb at least 2 or 3 times a day.
How old were you again?
I was like
way
2 or
too
3.
young, too.
Oh, yeah, you're too
the
young.
Score.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention the score. The score for this was not anywhere near as good as like I wondered if it was like Hans Zimmer did the first one. Did he not? Was that Hans Zimmer or somebody else? Okay. He did not work on this one.
No.
And it shows.
No. So
Harry Gregson Williams, I believe.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
So the first 20 minutes.
It's not super impressive.
Yeah, I remember that.
The first 20 minutes, actually, the score itself is what took me out of the movie. It just didn't match any of the scenes.
Well,
nothing.
It felt generic.
To be fair,
like that first half. The second half, I didn't have as much of a problem with. Harry
Gregson Williams is actually a really good composer. He has composed some beautiful scores with Ridley Scott. Prometheus' score is really great. Say what you want about the film, but looking at the score on its own, it's beautiful, adventurous, majestic, romantic even. The Robin Hood that Ridley Scott did has a adventurous, rousing score that I love. And he's a protege of Hans Zimmer. He has made some great stuff. Here, he makes an unmemorable score and utilizes Hans Zimmer's theme of "Now We Are Free," just unceremoniously and gratuitously at times.
Yes.
Just randomly, it feels also.
When it was a reference to Maximus in one way or another.
So if they're talking about him, they put that in there.
That's what it seemed like.
Right, but this is the thing. They're hitting us over the head with that, and yet they're showing us, they're telling us, and they're showing us, and they're putting that in our ears with the music of Maximus. It's just, you're laying this on too thick.
Yeah,
like show Lucius.
Yeah, do you see what we did there?
Doing that.
Did you see what we did there? We showing his armor. Did you see what we did there? There's a sword.
It was too direct with all.
Did you like seeing Maximus's name in English on the wall?
Oh,
well, technically speaking, it's kind of spelled the same way in Latin.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just like the U is a V, but it's
I'll back off from that.
Yeah.
Well, they were speaking English too, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean they had to speak English.
Denzel Washington doesn't have an accent. I don't fucking care.
It doesn't really matter to me. You have to do the whole movie in English. There must have been like 1,000 different languages in the Mediterranean region 2,000 years ago. So just do it in English. That's fine.
It's the movies that try to do the thing that Valkyrie did, which they start off with German and then they awkwardly transition into English, as if this is supposed to get us into this world and make it more believable,
right?
By making us think, oh no, you're hearing English, but just imagine, they're really still saying German. No, just go.
Oh yeah.
Just go with English, okay?
Which is fine. Which is what this movie did, which is fine.
Red October did that too, with changing from the Russian into the English, and then you go, how many KGB agents are on my ship? And
yeah. And I guarantee you, Valkyrie, when they were making it, was taking cues from that movie. Unnecessarily.
I don't doubt it.
Anyway, Gladiator 2 is a thing.
Wow.
It's probably apparently it's gonna make a lot of money. I don't know if that's
really what's it tracking to make. I hadn't heard.
Overseas, it's made a little bit, So we'd have to look
I think it'll probably track to like 700 or 800 million.
You mean total?
Yeah, total worldwide.
I think it'll end up around 4 or 5.
I think first weekend it'll probably do okay, but then I don't know. Not everybody's us, so
yeah,
I do kind of expect it's going to drop off. I'm curious to see whether Wicked's going to beat it.
Oh, speaking of which, when I was in the theater, there was all these people dressed up to see Wicked. I guess there must have been like a screening in my theater. I'm like, why the hell are all these where are all these freaks coming from? And then I noticed one of the women wearing a hat, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the same weekend. They've already started combining the names of these movies, like how they did last year with Barbenheimer.
Okay.
They've already started with that nonsense.
Well, I like my other combination, Sound of Turtles. Sound of Freedom, followed by Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. That was the same time. I didn't even see the
Sound of Turtles. Actually, that movie, you should go back and watch it. It is beautiful.
I was too annoyed at what they did with April O'Neil to watch it. So fine.
I get it.
Who did that movie?
Seth Rogen.
I was wondering if it was Kevin Smith. No.
Kevin Smith actually just did a movie called The 4:30 Movie, which I've downloaded. I haven't watched it yet. As many of my friends know, I have a massive movie depository. Right behind this camera is a massive server, like
suppository,
Wickedator, something like that.
Repository, yeah. I've just crossed 4,400 movies.
Oh dang! You need to make yourself a Plex library.
And just give you the link, and you can watch whatever you want. Glorious 1080p. I've got some movies in 4K, but those take up a lot of
yeah,
space.
Yeah. I don't do the whole 4K thing.
I've got Interstellar in 4K and 1917 in 4K. That's about it.
I want to go back to Gladiator 2 for 1 second, and there's an actor that's missing from this movie.
Djimon Hounsou.
Yes.
I thought he was supposed to be in here. For some reason, I thought I saw his name.
Do you know where he could have been?
No.
His character, Juba, I believe that's how it's pronounced.
He was free at the end of the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they look at what he could have. He could have been
Denzel's character. Is that what you're saying?
No, he could have been the Ravi character, the doctor character taking.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that too, but
fucking hysterical. I have a very good friend of mine, also named Ravi, also a doctor.
Oh, that is funny.
I texted his wife. I'm like, yo, your husband's in Gladiator 2.
I mean, I don't know if his presence would have helped at all. I really don't think so.
He's such an underrated actor.
Oh,
so
I agree.
Underrated.
Absolutely.
Super underrated.
I don't think it could have saved it though. It still would have felt like just a nostalgia callback.
Here's a wild pitch.
But I thought he was supposed to be in
I
there.
would have loved to see a Gladiator 2 starring Djimon Hounsou as the main character.
Yeah.
As Gladiator.
There's your DEI.
But is like, well done. I want a great actor that is underutilized, that deserves to be in leading roles, that hasn't gotten a chance yet.
He's been in Hollywood forever and has not gotten his big shot.
It has no fucking matter
and he's
about
so
his
good.
Skin shade.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. His on-screen charisma, his personality, what he brings to roles. Yeah, he was in Amistad, so he had a leading role there.
Did you see him in Blood? That's what I was going to say. Blood
That's
Diamond.
a supporting role.
Oh my gosh!
Blood Diamond.
I know, but I mean, it was that
He's
performance. Like I've always liked him, but that performance,
and I really
my heart with that performance. He was.
I really liked Never Back
really
Down.
Good.
He played.
I have not seen that.
I just saw the trailer.
It's enjoyable. It's a throw.
He was in the island.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh no, I did a video on the island, and that he was underutilized in that.
He's
and
always,
his character is inconsistent.
Almost always underutilized.
Because they actually modified the script because of Djimon Hounsou. They added to his character and made him live and made him into a good guy.
Yeah. And
I would argue that it's
jarring,
but ultimately welcome because you love that actor. What it was apparent during when they were making The Island that Michael Bay just said, I really like this actor and I love the way he's portraying it, and I don't want him to die or continue to make him a bad baddie. I'm gonna do a character switch here and a character change, which could have been with some modification would have worked. But ultimately, the point still is the same. Djimon Hounsou is an underrated actor, and he needs more opportunities and like a big leading role.
Like a discount.
Oops, sorry. Conversations going on in the background. Sorry about that. There are some actors that I like so much I don't like when they play baddies. Denzel's one of them.
Training Day?
I know he was excellent, but I don't like him being a baddie because I like Denzel so much.
Because you have such an affinity to when he's a good guy and you see him as like a fatherly kind of figure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it just feels so wrong when he plays a bad person.
Sure.
So when
he's so good.
He is excellent. I love his acting. I don't like when he's a baddie. It's hard for me to not like his, because I like him so much on a personal level.
So like what do you make of okay. Never mind.
That's what makes kind of going off on a tangent here. Sorry. Another Denzel Washington movie where he could be construed as the villain because he ultimately does the crime that starts off the whole thing is A Soldier Story.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
is that an older one?
It's an older one. It's from 1984, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a murder mystery on an army base. And
now you went and totally went and spoiled it. You said.
Well, is that the only crime that takes place in the movie?
Okay. I haven't seen this, so now I'm curious.
They ordered a code red.
Maybe. But the thing is that while what he did in that movie was wrong, there are people in that movie who do a lot worse things. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I question, would his character in that movie be considered a villain? And it depends on what point of view you have.
Yeah.
Power is a movie that he's in where he's kind of a villain. But
American Gangster, which I have to rewatch.
Well,
that upcoming live.
Yeah. So
you can name a host of films that he is just excellent, and he's one of the greatest actors in cinema history.
Agree.
Oh, yeah.
Agree.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I kind of look at his performance in this as he realizes what kind of a movie he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great in the role.
I look at it as this movie was made so Ridley Scott and Denzel Washington can hang out in Italy or wherever they film it and drink wine.
Yeah.
And smoke cigars.
But you know what role prepared Denzel to play this role perfectly? Macbeth from a couple of years ago.
So they did a movie. They did a movie that released in theaters for that.
No, it was like an app. Well, maybe briefly, but it was an Apple TV Plus.
And it's a movie. It's not. It's not a play that they film.
Yeah,
no,
the Coen Brothers film. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was.
I had it on or near my top 10.
Timer.
Oh, does that mean time's up for
For
that's
deleted?
us.
He's got
Yeah.
another live stream he's got to get to, and
we got to start wrapping this up. Unfortunately,
this was a rich conversation that could actually go on for another hour, possibly. Because
Agreed.
I got some more things to say about the film.
Are you going to do a review for it? Because I actually did film a review when I got home last night.
I'm getting a sense that I should. Because
I feel like you should, Kyle.
I will as well, and maybe a cinethesis.
Well, I got to wait until the movie comes out because I need all the clips from the movie to do a cinethesis. That's the thing. But I am working on a cinethesis. This is the outro part of our stream where we can talk about it. I have a video that I'm working on that is about. The title is going to be The Greatest Underrated Thriller. Forgotten underrated thriller.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. All right.
Which is going to have serious parallels to our current political times and events. Anyway, that's my
catharsis.
Forward to that. All right, so let's do a quick wrap up of what we thought of the film. Sin, let's start with you.
Oh, we going to do the thumbs up or down right now?
The thumbs up or down.
Is that what we're going to do? Or are we just all going to do it at the same time, the thumbs up or down?
Oh, okay. Let's do it at the same time.
We'll time it at the end. Okay, so
okay,
we're going to do it now?
2, 1.
I'm not gonna go all the way, and I'm not gonna go all the way.
I'm in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
I'm in the middle as well with you, Kyle.
I'm like a little bit below parallel.
Obviously, the first film is this.
Oh yeah,
100%. Yep,
100%.
This one.
The second is not all the way bad.
Agreed.
There are some good aspects to it, like the Coliseum scenes, aside from some janky CGI, are exciting. And they are engaging.
Agreed.
And some of the character work in scenes are entertaining. And I mean, you have a retarded emperor. Okay.
2.
All right.
No.
Only
actually,
one is
one. No, he's not retarded. He has syphilis.
He has some sort of
syphilis.
He has some
sort of.
But
he's like, his pecker disease is affecting his brain. Syphilis.
I didn't hear the pecker part.
Yeah, they mentioned it. They do specifically mention that.
I mean, you could still say that it's making him retarded.
Hey, thanks, Nate. Subscribe to all our channels.
Yeah, Sashi, I mentioned that in my own review. I didn't outright hate it. I didn't outright love it. It's not going to be on my top 10 worst. It's not going to be on my top 10 favorite. It feels
5.5 out of 10, or like 5 out of 10.
Or 6 out of 10, or whatever at the most. It does not feel like the Ridley Scott of the first Gladiator.
No.
Listen, here's the thing. It is no Joker 2. Okay.
Right.
It's no Trap.
I wasn't angry, at least, when I saw it.
Yeah.
Right. So but you will have some good times in the film.
And some bad times, like CGI and
you will enjoy this, as we've seen based off of Sin's testimony. If you have not seen the first film, you'll probably enjoy this. And
go see the first film.
But definitely go see the first film because it's a Best Picture winner, and deservedly so. Even though there's some people that like say, "Oh, it's overrated," and no, it's not. No, it's not.
Russell Crowe got an Oscar for that one too.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing.
But he didn't win.
That's the thing. The presence of Russell Crowe permeates throughout this film.
Yes, I mentioned that in my review.
And most of all, that Paul Mescal, I'm doing that on purpose if you couldn't tell. He does not convey, he tries to, but he cannot convey the masculine, stoic nature and charm that Russell Crowe has or had. And it's just like, that's what makes me think, if you can't achieve that, why are you? I get the sense that Ridley Scott was trying to emulate Russell Crowe's presence.
Well, of course.
But that's the thing. Yeah. Don't try to replicate it. See what Spencer Tree Clark would have done.
Yeah.
And my pitch.
At least let him audition.
Absolutely. And this brings full circle, because I was going to finish. I was going to talk about this, and I'll finish off with it. What could have happened was you start off the film in which Spencer Tree Clark, Lucius, is hiding out still, and he's not a fucking warrior. He's not ready for battle. Maybe a
But
battle
he gets
does
forced into it.
Forced into one, and he fucks up, and that's what gets him sold into slavery. And
Mhm.
in the battles coming up, he starts off in the tertiary gladiatorial battles, and he has to build himself up,
Right.
almost like a superhero origin story.
Yeah.
He has to build himself up to the point where he has to become like Maximus, this man that he maybe idolizes. Maybe he's maybe he's carving like a statue, which harkens back to the first one, because Russell Crowe had these statues of his family. What if Lucius is carving like a statue of Maximus? He doesn't have a wife. Don't fucking do the wife thing.
Yeah, the wife was entirely unnecessary.
A solitary
Kyle,
character.
you've gone and written it.
That is lonely.
So much better.
He's dealing with
than
isolation.
what we got.
Okay, he's dealing with pain of losing his family, and he can't get back. And maybe he has some memory issues similar to like Jason Bourne. He hit his head from somebody that along the way when he was trying to hide out, knocked him over the head or something. Like, he's dealing with shit and isolation, and the only thing he remembers is this figure, this figure that he looked up to, and he has to become that figure. But we need to see the journey of that.
Right.
That could have been Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They should have hired you to write the screenplay.
Well, you should hire any of us to write screenplays. I think we do better than 99% of hard Hollywood.
Oh my!
And he agrees. Kyle would pay to see your movie.
I would too.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, good one. I'm picturing it in my brain already.
Honestly, I might steal it for my review.
Go for no. This is what we're here for. Like, if we can inform each other in a way that's natural, like, I didn't think about that, I will adopt that.
Yeah,
it's not about I can't think for myself. How am I going to think of things to say? Yada yada.
Yeah, exactly.
I listened to a podcast last night called, I think it's just called the. Oh, I won't plug it anyway, unless they pay me. But I listened to a podcast, and it was an early review of Gladiator 2. They must have been being there. Apparently, they're going to have one of the actors, Joseph Quinn, on the show for some interviews. So there might be some aspect to that where they don't want to say so much about what they don't like about it.
Yeah.
But one of them literally said that it's like one of the top films of the year, and I just got this sense of are they being paid by the studio? Are they being paid? Because I think that's
they probably are. Yeah, they probably are. They probably are.
They said a couple quibbles, but they were so minor that it didn't really matter. And they're praising aspects to it, like they didn't even note about like the CGI. I think they even said the CGI was great. And I'm just, I don't think I'm gonna return to this podcast and listen to you guys because you're probably shills.
Yeah.
Or they wanted to make sure that they were gonna that actor was still gonna be on his podcast.
Right.
On their podcast.
I'll give one thing to Mark Kermode is there is a separation in which he has a host that interviews the people and the stars and filmmakers, but Mark Kermode doesn't often and reviews the film separately and then comes back with his other co-host and then they talk about the film together. And he's very brutal if he doesn't like a film, he's very honest about it. So I appreciate it, even though he's said some things about some woke stuff that have been ridiculous, but in aspects to that of having integrity and being honest, I think that's a very valuable or invaluable, whichever way you want to look at it.
Should we plug our upcoming videos and channels?
Well, you guys go ahead. I already did.
Yay.
Okay. Sin. Yeah.
Just my Gladiator review is coming up. That's probably the most immediate.
Nice.
Probably on Thursday.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. I have to put that out probably tomorrow, just to take early mover advantage with the YouTube algorithm. But I've been starting to review Yellowstone episode 2. Recap is shot, and I have yet to watch. Probably after this stream, I'll throw it on. Is Dune Prophecy, which is one of my favorite movies this year.
It's not it's a show.
It is a show.
Dune Part 2. Okay, yeah,
so Dune Part 2, which I actually had a bunch of really good, successful videos do well. I'm gonna review the HBO series. So
have you seen it yet?
I have not yet. No, I was like,
bored.
I need an hour to devote to watching it, and I just haven't had the time. I'm hitting the gym hard.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
I
was sore walking out of the theater, and I was like, oh, I'm a Roman soldier.
It's the good kind of sore.
Yeah, it is.
Good kind of sore.
All right. And of course, right after this stream has ended, you will be redirected straight to my next program, which is live from Sparkwood in 21. Retrospective of the Twin Peaks television series and all the multimedia surrounding it. Tonight, we're going to be talking about The Final Dossier, the book by Mark Frost, which is kind of a nice capper to season 3 and fills in some of the blanks. So we're going to be discussing that. And if you ever saw Twin Peaks season 3, there were some pretty fucking major blanks. So, yeah. David Lynch does not do A to B to C storytelling by any means.
No, he doesn't.
But, no. So catch me. That's where I'm going to be next. So, all right.
Fantastic.
All right. I do want to thank everybody who was in the chat. You guys are great. Thank you, Nate, for the super chat. And thank you to everyone who watched us on other platforms. Thank you to the little puppy there. Good to see you. And all right. Any last words before we call this a night?
No, can't think of anything.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
I like that.
That quote, I don't think that quote came up at all, which surprised me a little bit.
Thank God they didn't do a throwback.
Right?
Yep.
They did a throwback to everything else.
Line. Oh,
I'm surprised they
Lord,
didn't show the little statues being found in the sand of the Colosseum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Planted there at the end of the first one.
That would have been interesting, but it's too damn shallow.
I know.
Yeah. I thought they were going to do a flashback to like just show that the moment where Lucius was going in the Colosseum was where he remembered that Maximus died there.
Yeah.
You know, and they would show a quick flash of, you know, him there, and it could have been poignant.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we could honestly talk about this.
This is a demonstration. We can keep talking about it.
We need to let you go, Deleted. Or
yeah.
You do. Okay.
We'll probably continue this conversation up in another stream, but yeah. Until next time.
All right.
All right.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take
Peace
care.
out, Radio Land.
I am going to just do a heart out. And as I always say at the end of every stream, thank you all once again for watching. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe. Don't get captured in battle and enslaved and sent to Rome.
Oh, that would be bad.
Because that would be bad. And this is how we win. Good night.